You don't even have to look at the clock anymore. Your body already knows. You open your eyes, and there it is again. That same thin hour of the night, where the room is quiet, the world is still, and your nervous system is suddenly loud. Not in a dramatic way. In that maddening way where your heart isn't pounding like a panic attack, but your mind starts moving like a searchlight, sweeping the dark for problems it can't solve. You try to roll over. You try the pillow flip. You try the breath that's supposed to fix it. You try telling yourself you're safe, you're fine, you're tired, you can sleep. But sleep feels like it walked out of the room. And the question that keeps returning, night after night, is the same one that makes you feel powerless. Why is this happening again? Here's the question that changes the meaning of the pattern before you turn it into a personal flaw. What if your sleep keeps breaking at the same hour because your body isn't just responding to your individual stress? What if your body is responding to a collective pressure season, an environmental weather shift? And night is simply where your system finally admits what it's been holding all day. If you've been living inside this, you know it's not just the waking, it's what the waking does to you. It makes you dread bedtime. You start negotiating with night like it's an unpredictable person. You delay sleep because you don't want to be disappointed again, or you go to bed early because you're desperate. And then you lie there, listening for your own failure. It messes with your confidence, because you can handle a lot when you've slept. When you haven't, everything gets sharper and heavier. Your patience thins. Your thoughts get darker. Your emotions get louder or flatter. You feel less like yourself. And the scariest part is that you start anticipating the next bad night while you're still in the day. Then you do what a good modern person does. You try to optimize. You cut caffeine, then you add it back because you can't function. You try magnesium, try melatonin, try a new tea, try a new routine, try a new app, try a new podcast voice that promises to talk your nervous system into surrender. You change your pillow. You buy the blackout curtains. You search forums at 2:58 a.m., reading other people's panic to soothe your own. And because nothing feels like a guaranteed fix, you start quietly blaming yourself. Maybe I'm anxious. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I'm broken. Maybe I'll never sleep normally again. Maybe my body forgot how. But your body didn't forget how to sleep. Your body is just refusing to sleep while it feels like it has to stand guard. That's the part nobody says plainly enough. Broken sleep often isn't laziness in the brain. It's vigilance in the body. And vigilance doesn't disappear because you want it to. Vigilance disappears when the environment feels stable enough to stop scanning. Most people think sleep problems are private, like a personal glitch inside your biology. But look around and you'll notice something that's too consistent to be ignored. Whole populations go through waves of disturbed sleep at the same time. More night waking, more vivid dreams, more restless bodies, more tired but wired. More of that strange sensation that your life is calm enough, yet your system won't unclench. That's where the perspective shifts from what's wrong with me to what season are we in? Because there are seasons where the collective nervous system tightens. The news is heavier. The economy feels less predictable. Social tension rises. People feel more uncertain about the future, even when their personal life hasn't dramatically changed. In those seasons, the body starts conserving, scanning, recalibrating. It gets more sensitive to threat cues. It holds tension longer. It wakes faster. And night becomes the stage where the day's bracing is finally noticed. This is why the astrology lens belongs here. Not as a horoscope, not as a personality label, not as a prediction game, as an environmental language. A way of describing collective pressure, reflection phases, structural testing, and the way uncertainty moves through the room, even when nobody says it out loud. Used this way, astrology isn't telling you what will happen. It's naming the weather pattern your body can already feel. There are times when the world itself feels less settled, and your nervous system responds like it's listening to an alarm you can't hear with your ears. So your sleep breaks. Not because you're weak, because your system is awake to the atmosphere, and the atmosphere has been loud. Astrology began as collective observation long before it became personal branding. Ancient astrologers tracked patterns to understand seasons, governance cycles, agriculture, navigation, and social rhythm. People watched the sky because it helped them coordinate life with forces bigger than individual will. It wasn't originally about ego. It was about timing and environment. That origin matters because it keeps this conversation grounded. The point isn't that planets cause your insomnia. The point is that humans have always needed a language to describe collective shifts, periods when the air feels different, when systems tighten, when endings cluster, when people everywhere start having the same conversations about safety, money, belonging, and the future. In those collective pressure phases, sleep often becomes the first casualty, because sleep requires surrender. It requires trust. It requires the body to believe that nothing is about to demand immediate response. When the world feels less predictable, surrender feels expensive. So the body keeps a small part of itself online, not loudly, quietly. It wakes you at the same hour because that hour is when your system performs its nightly scan. Are we safe? Is anything coming? Did we miss something? What needs to be handled? What could go wrong? You might not be consciously thinking those thoughts, but your body is. And once you understand that, the night waking stops being a mystery and starts being a message. My system is living as if it cannot fully let go. You can see this in real life with painful clarity. You see it in people during economic uncertainty. Even if they're employed, their sleep becomes lighter because the environment is broadcasting risk. Layoffs, rising costs, unstable markets, constant talk of what's coming. The body listens. It starts waking early to prepare, as if sleeplessness could prevent surprise. You see it in caregivers and parents. Their day is filled with responsibility, and the night becomes the only place their body has room to feel how much it's holding. They wake at the same hour because their nervous system is trained to check. Is everyone okay? Is something needed? Did I forget something? What's the next demand? You see it in high performers after prolonged intensity. Their body spends months in handle it mode, deadlines, pressure, constant responsiveness. Then they finally slow down, and instead of sleeping, they wake more. Not because rest is bad, but because the nervous system doesn't trust the downshift yet. It's been trained to associate quiet with vulnerability, and you see it culturally, across whole groups, when the collective mood turns. During major world events, people report more vivid dreams and more night waking. The mind processes what the day doesn't have time to digest, and the body discharges what it couldn't feel while it had to keep functioning. This is why your sleep keeps breaking at the same hour. Not because your body is malfunctioning, because your body is still trying to protect you in a season that feels uncertain, and protection often wears the costume of insomnia. So what do you do with this without turning sleep into another performance you fail at? You stop trying to win sleep, and you start rebuilding night as a place your nervous system can trust. The first adjustment is to stop treating the waking as proof you're ruined. The moment you wake and think, "Here we go again. I'm done. Tomorrow is going to be awful." Your body interprets that as danger. Not because the thought is dramatic, but because the thought is urgency. In pressure seasons, urgency is gasoline. If you can't sleep, the first mercy is this: don't turn the waking into a fight. Let it be information. My system is scanning. The second adjustment is to give your body a different signal when it scans. Instead of immediately grabbing your phone or rehearsing tomorrow's problems, bring your senses into the room you are actually in. Feel the weight of the blanket. Notice the temperature. Listen for the quiet. Let your nervous system collect evidence that this is not a threat moment. You're not trying to force sleep. You're teaching your body that the scan can end peacefully. The third adjustment is to protect your evening from collective static. You don't have to live in ignorance, but you do have to respect how much the body absorbs. Late night headlines, heated conversations, doom scrolling, high stimulation content. These are environmental alarms. If you feed your system alarms before bed, don't be surprised when it wakes you to keep listening for more. The fourth adjustment is to build a small downshift ritual that is repeatable, not perfect. A quieter hour, dimmer light, a warm drink, a shower, gentle stretching, a short walk, a consistent cue that tells your body, we are transitioning from output to safety. You don't need a magical routine. You need repetition that teaches the nervous system a new rhythm. The fifth adjustment is to make one practical life anchor that reduces background threat. Sometimes sleep breaks because there is a real unresolved pressure in the day. Money ambiguity, conflict avoidance, overscheduling, a health fear you keep pushing away. You don't need to solve your life at midnight, but you may need one clean daytime action that tells your system, I am handling what matters. One budget pass, one honest conversation, one boundary around work hours, one appointment scheduled. When the body senses you are steering, it scans less at night. None of this is a promise. It's a re-education. You're not demanding your nervous system behave. You're showing it safety until it believes you. And when this begins to shift, you feel it internally first. Before, night felt like a courtroom. You went to bed braced. You woke up angry at your own biology. You watched the clock like it was judging you. You tried to force your body into surrender, and the forcing kept you awake. Your days felt harder because your nights felt like battles, and you started living as if rest was unreliable. After the inner climate softens, you still might wake sometimes, but you stop panicking inside the waking. You stop turning the hour into a catastrophe. Your body starts learning that the scan can end without a fight. Calm returns in small pockets. Trust grows because you're not betraying yourself with urgency. Clarity returns because you're not living on fractured sleep. Self-respect rises because you stop treating your body like an enemy and start treating it like a loyal guardian that needs new instructions. Transformation is internal first. The first victory isn't 8 perfect hours. The first victory is that you no longer feel hunted by your own night. And once the body stops feeling hunted, it starts letting you sleep. If your sleep keeps breaking at the same hour, what does your body seem to be scanning for? Unfinished responsibilities, financial uncertainty, relational tension, overstimulation, or fear of tomorrow? And what one evening boundary or calming cue could you repeat this week to teach your nervous system that night is not a vigilance assignment? Your sleep doesn't shatter because you're fragile. It shatters when the world teaches your body that surrender is unsafe, and the night becomes the only place your nervous system dares to tell the truth. If this episode put language to your nights, share in the comments what time you keep waking and what your mind immediately starts scanning for. Subscribe if you want more episodes that translate symptoms into pattern recognition, so your health can rebuild through calm, trust, clarity, and self-respect instead of nightly battles.